Hello, everybody, and welcome back to another in Cisco Tech Insiders podcast. I am your host, Shaun Roberts, and this is probably the first time you guys have actually seen me live. So we're going video today, and it's for a really exciting event. Okay, so with me, I have two of our phenomenal executives from CX Centers. I have Buffy Ransom, and I have Jami Stewart, and I'm going to let them introduce themselves here in a minute, like always. But this episode is all about an executive's view of Cisco Live, right? So I got Cisco Live shirt on. We're ready to go. And without further ado, I'm going to kick it off. And first, I'd like to introduce Buffy Ransom. Buffy, if you'd give us a little quickly about yourself.
Hi, everybody. Buffy Ransom here. Good to see you. I lead the CX Center, so such a pleasure to be here for my first podcast with you, Shaun, and looking forward to it.
Thank you very much. And Jami, if you'd tell us a little bit about yourself.
Hello, everybody. My name is Jami Stewart, and I lead our CX Centers Americas team. And I will tell everyone I actually am a subscriber to this podcast. So this is the first podcast I've been on and the first one that I've been on that I'm a subscriber to. So super excited to be here, Shaun.
Well, that's amazing that we do have a celebrity on with us, a follower of the podcast. And I'm glad that everybody is really enjoying. For those listeners, we have just passed a year of listeners, a year of time, and we have thousands and thousands of listeners. So you guys are phenomenal, and I'm glad we can keep producing good content that keeps you coming back. Having said that, let's get on to the good content that you wanted to see. So we just had Cisco Live right here in the US in June. Lots of exciting things, scaling the point from services that CX can provide to innovation to all kinds of amazing labs and breakout sessions and engineers just coming right to you, the customer. And that's the core of the Tech Insiders podcast, right? It's bringing Cisco folks to you, our customers and our listeners. So it was Buffy. It was your first time at Cisco Live, which I know can be quite daunting. So give us your perspective on your very first Cisco Live.
Shaun, the first thing that pops in my head when you ask that question is energy. Like, it was such a vibe, such great energy, innovation, engagement. If I think about like this magic combination of high relationship and innovation and everyone connecting together, it was well organized. It had also maybe a great sense of team, like Cisco team. It was just really, really neat to see. So, I think everything was answered, and it was just really, really an excellent event.
Excellent. Thanks. I felt the energy too. I felt last 2 years, just the amount of human energy, right? Especially us getting back together. I know it's the second year, but it felt like kind of the cap was lifted, right? We were capped in a previous year, and this year was great. So Jami, I believe you're a multiple year veteran of Cisco Live. From your perspective, what kind of comes top to mind to you about this Cisco Live?
Yeah, so this was my second Cisco Live. The most important thing I'll say is wear tennis shoes. No need to wear fancy heels if you are going to Cisco Live, because you will regret every second of it. And one of the things that on my first, so I got there the day before because my team, so the TAC function, was setting up the TAC booth. And the TAC booth is one of the largest spaces that's in the world of solutions. We had over 15,000 square feet. And as I'm walking in to check how it's going, I saw people that were, they're visiting Cisco Live, and they're taking pictures, like taking selfies, and behind them is the big world of solutions. And it actually gave me pause that what I take for granted every day, to be able to work with technology, to be able to see, innovation and get glimpses of the future. Some people will actually travel all the way to Las Vegas to see it and be so excited that they're taking a selfie and they're sending it home to their family and to their teams. And it's just, I guess as an employee at Cisco, it really gets me excited about what we do. And it is incredibly energizing. And it gives me this whole level of commitment to our customers as well. Because this is their bread and butter, like what we do with technology. It's just it's a real reminder about why technology is the future and about being part of something that's much bigger.
Yeah, I fully agree. I saw a lot of that. I got to hang with some customers myself, after hours and stuff like that. And just to connect in the people, the human stories were great. We actually didn't talk much about work. We talked about our families, our kids, etc. So yeah, I think that's really awesome. Buffy, I'm gonna go back to you, and you presented in one of the innovation talks, and one of super highly ranked ones at Cisco Live with a handful of your colleagues. So if you could kind of tell us a little bit about what you presented, what you talked about, and kind of your spot on innovation that was listed for this Cisco Live.
Oh, thank you. And can I tell you, that was a team effort to pull together such a great presentation. We had Harry, who was leading all of Americas, and he interviewed Honeywell. And the gentleman from Ali was his name, from Honeywell. He was such a fantastic star. He was talking about innovation left and right, around how he has leveraged our innovation to free up resources to allow him to do more work in different and better ways across his business. And it was just such a great story. And he kept on saying, "But no, I have more." And Harry was like, "Are you done yet?" And he's like, "No, I have more." It was really, really fantastic. And then I was able to talk about the TAC innovation story of how we've mined all of the service requests and figured out how to leverage that information and create tools like RadKit. And RadKit is an excellent example of a collector that crosses over all of our technologies. And it was just even afterwards, I got at least a couple of partners and a couple of customers walking up afterwards saying, "Where have you been hiding this? How do we get it? Where do we install it?" I mean, it was just it was a great event. And then Jesse closed with how we're wrapping in code as a service and presenting it to our customers as well, so that they can leverage it going forward. So it was really just a fantastic event.
Outside of those things and things that you walked around and saw, what's the most exciting thing for you innovation-wise in CX centers?
Well, so, I'm a techie at heart, so I love to see all the different types of innovation that we have. I love that we're using AI and ML in our internal tooling and giving guidance to our engineers with internal tools. I love that we're now exposing that to our customers and our partners as well. Collectors, we're collapsing and consolidating all of our collectors to have that great strategy. I think of it as like this powerhouse. We have such amazing talent within our team, and we have such amazing digital solutions, and together you combine that together, and it is a really powerful solution that we're going to start presenting to our customers as we work through the issues on the tax side of the house. So excited about the future there for sure.
Thank you very much. Jami, kind of piggybacking off that and asking kind of a similar question, what did you see at Cisco Live innovation-wise or non-innovation-wise that kind of drove you or made you get you excited?
So I am a little obsessed right now with generative AI technology, to the point where my dogs have an Instagram page, and I'm starting to add in a little bit of chatgpt as I write the descriptions of their cute little antics that they're doing when I post. And so I think it's interesting as we learned a bit more about what we're seeing in the WebEx space, because I think that this technology, just as Buffy had shared, this technology is going to help humans be so much better at what they do in a world that's even faster moving, in a world that's even more complex. And I know I can use all the help I can get, and I'm really excited about what we're seeing. And so there were two key things that I heard about when we were hearing some about the WebEx suite. And there's this one capability called Catch Me Up. And what it does is it allows users, like if you're out of the office or if you're not able to make something, you can get caught up quickly on what are all the interactions that you missed, like what are the meetings or callings or chats and more. And it helps you prioritize where to come back into as you're coming back in, and maybe to get more engaged. And also you can kind of maybe instead of 7 things, you can do 1 thing and kick out, 7 of the actions that you may have missed or the follow-ups that you missed. But even better, and I kid you not, I was talking about this with my team today when we were doing a kind of a planning session. There are these intelligent meeting summaries, which are super duper cool. And so if you are going back and looking at your meeting recording, you can opt in to generate a summary about the most important part of the meeting, so WebEx meeting. It will pull out key points. It will tell you at 5 minutes and 30 seconds, Buffy Ransom's name was mentioned, and here are the action items that were mentioned for Buffy. And it's a huge time saver if either you're unable to join or if you don't want to have to read all the notes or don't want to listen to the entire meeting. And why I mention about us, this is being very, relevant today. As I mentioned something about AI and I said, hey, I'm actually talking in this podcast later on tonight, and here's some of the things I thought were really cool. One of the guys at the table said that the day before, his wife, who also works at Cisco and is in this group, was actually using these intelligent meeting summaries to go through the meetings that she missed. And he said it was fantastic because you could search for her name and see everything, and not just her actions, but others. I think that this is how, again, when you've got so much that's happening, as humans, there are things that we can bring to the table that are really special and unique. And it's about connecting dots, and it's about, maybe thinking differently than our machines were. But I can use all the help that I can get with being able to make sure that I'm, understand what I'm doing and driving, what I've committed to, and the action items, and super clear about, decisions that we've made as teams. So I am super excited about the capabilities that we're starting to see using the generative AI technology.
So that means we can triple book you on meetings and you'll get it all, right? No worries.
Oh,
No.
Well done.
So going off that, and so for the podcast listeners, if you like some of the things that Jami's talking about, don't worry, because we've already had one AI podcast, but we've got a couple more planned down the road. We've got some of the, we're bringing back some of the same guests. Great conversations to be had. I'd like to redirect over Buffy. What should the podcasters know about CX centers and TAC? Your perspective on things from what you're leading, in Cisco.
Well, first off, it's all about the people. It's, we talked about this a little bit before. You have great people, whether emerging talent coming in with amazing fresh ideas and combined with our tenured talent of, thinking about the tools and moving forward and thinking about how actually AI can help us internally as well. Jami talked about a little bit about, tools that will help from a meetings perspective. We're looking at AI to help us with SR routing. We're looking at AI to help us as a kind of a co-pilot type mentality and thinking as well. So we have an engine, right? We have an engine of developers that are, looking to identify those opportunities, create that, digitize it. And then I think, if I look at it, it takes kind of a village, if you will, like that supporting cast. I look at our leadership team. I look at how we are looking at our TLs, how we look at our engineers, how we look at the development of our training, and in combination, that whole supporting cast is really, really just fantastic. So it takes the whole ship to work together to make the centers be fantastic. And I even, you layer in actually services. I didn't even talk about managed services and our PS services and the combination with the TAC teams there and combining them together. I just think the potential is really, really powerful, and, combined together, it's a really, really fantastic story that we're going to be telling, especially coming into FY24.
Thanks. Kind of playing off that and looking at where is, or do you think there is a line that we draw at some point between a generative AI and a human, doing something, right? So working the case versus telling ChatGPT, hey, fix this case for me. Do you think we get to that point, or do you think it's something that we have to go ahead and put in place earlier on?
I think we need to be really, really smart. I think we need to be really conservative, if you will, in our approach of making sure that the AI solutions that are giving us ideas on how to troubleshoot the issues, they need to be tested. And there needs to be actually a really high percentage of acceptance, if you will, going through rigorous amount of testing before we would even leverage it internally. So the rigor around the AI, I think, is going to be high. I only see it as complementary. So if that makes sense, so it's a complementary tool to everything that we do. I think you have to have the people behind, what's actually going on to observe, what's going on within a customer site. AI is only looking at the data that it's been given. And sometimes when you're troubleshooting an issue, you actually have to listen. You actually have to say, gosh, I know about this customer. 10 years ago, they had X, Y, and Z. Then they did this, then they did this, then they did this. That's nothing that AI can actually resolve or troubleshoot. And so it really is dependent on the people. And again, it'll be more of a complementary solution going forward for sure.
And I'll add into that because I think I love where you're going with this, Buffy. As humans and as people, we can better understand the urgency of the issue or the implications if we're not solving it quickly. We can understand maybe the emotions that the customer we're talking to has, or the fact that as we're talking to a customer, their boss is also asking what's happening, and we'll never ever be able to replace that. But it does mean that as we're building teams, and as you look at any type of a TAC or a technical support team, our people are even more important, because they bring something to the table that AI will never replace or bring to the table. And they have to do that while they're also have that technical knowledge and understanding of what we're doing. So we will always have amazing people that are doing the work, whether it's through our TAC function or through others that Buffy had mentioned, like some of the advanced services or some of the managed services. So it's only complementary, maybe helping with productivity and helping with those really complicated things, but our people are still incredibly important. So I'm jumping on the bandwagon that
totally.
Buffy
Yeah, totally agree. I see it as there's always the three legs, right? The people, process, and tools. I see AI just helping with the processes and tools side of the house to help make it quicker, faster, better, if you will, for us to troubleshoot an issue. So it's I think it is a great tool for us to leverage, but totally agree with you. It's a complementary tool.
Cool. That's a great discussion. Thanks. Speaking of those world-class TAC engineers that you guys are in charge of, Jami, you were a part of the TAC booth, the TAC Center at Cisco Live. So can you kind of give the podcast listeners kind of an insight if they didn't get to attend and get to visit? I know plenty did, but tell us a little bit about the TAC Center that's there in Cisco Live.
So about 10% of all of our Cisco Live attendees actually passed through the TAC booth, and we were right by the store where you could buy your fancy Cisco Live sweatshirts. Believe it or not, it took 7 months of planning for us to make sure we had that presence properly. So we put a lot of work into making sure that we have the right technical talent, that we are that we have. I think we had 33 different technology or innovation stations. So we wanted to make sure whatever our customers had questions on from a technology standpoint, we would have people that would be there that would be able to answer questions that came in. We had, it was almost 2,000 different engagements that came through as well. And in addition, and so I'm doing advertising for next year right now, we also did these mini tech sessions where we had 50 different people, I think it might have been more than 50 people, who would go through different topics like things around security or collaboration or how to configure certain things, how to troubleshoot, with about 900 people that attended those. My personal best experience in this was that I was talking to a customer. So customer wanted to come in, and there's a special place where you go talk to customers. I said, why don't you come on over to this TAC booth? And so I brought them over, and as they walked in and saw, the scale and scope of what we were doing, we not only were able to introduce the customer to their favorite engineer who just happened to be there, and they were absolutely astounded to get to meet this engineer in person. I pulled that engineer in, and we sat down and we talked about some of the issues and challenges that they've had. And it's turned around that entire relationship with the customer, because sometimes when you see someone face to face, it just brings this whole other level of relationship into it. And the final thing I'll note, so we had I think it was about 92 or 93 different folks from the TAC there for TAC engineers and some of our most senior people, what we like our TAC leaders, our technical leaders. And as they worked with customers, we actually solved hundreds of cases on the fly. So a customer would come up and there'd be that case and we'd say, well, let's sit down and talk about it. And we'd pull it up and we'd show them and teach them. And we're able to have the time and space to teach them as well. Again, second year I've done it. The first year I was, I think, awestruck by just like walking around this shiny new place. The second year I was like, this is really, really special to be able to get that face-to-face time. And any technical question that people had, we would answer. And a lot of these people, it was their first time as Cisco employees, their first Cisco Live. And we did that very deliberately because the other side of it is it allows our TAC engineers to remember that as you're working with customers, these are real people. And it's not just a problem to solve, it's this person that you can work with. And it just puts this whole different level of connecting together to solve sometimes incredibly complicated problems that they have. So we had the best of the best TAC talent. We had customers that were excited to be there. We were had innovation that Buffy mentioned, like around RadKit and some of our automation workflows. It was just a fantastic experience and one that you have to go see if you're listening to the podcast and are going to be at Cisco Live 2024.
I'd have to, you took some of the words out of my mouth. I would challenge if any of our TAC engineers that do end up watching this podcast stuff. I'm going to go a little.
It's a neat thing. Actually, can I just piggyback on Jami's comment real quick? Because I don't know if she set the stage correctly. You walk into this massive, massive space and you walk 20 feet in, and the first thing you see in biggest, boldest letters was, TAC booth. Like, it was immense. We had them, like, per square foot, we had the biggest space ever. It was like I wish I could, pictures don't do it justice because it had the breakout sessions, but all technologies were there. I had a customer pull me aside and he goes, this is the best part of your event. This is it. This Cisco Live. He goes, the people that you brought here, and he was just like smiling ear to ear. It was just such a genuine experience. So to Jami's point, it is so special, and hopefully we'll try to give everyone an opportunity to attend. Absolutely.
I wanted to, just out of my curiosity's sake, tell me one thing, if you have one thing, that you did while in Vegas that's not Cisco Live related that was cool or interesting to you. If you got a chance, I know you're execs, but if you got a chance to do something.
I don't know, but let's see. I'm thinking. It's actually so while unrelated but related was just the connection with the team. Having after everyone's done with the booth work, going out and we sat there with, I don't know, it was like 4 or 5 engineers and just really connected. And I think that is, to me, the best part of Cisco Live is the connection that we actually had, just not only with our customers, but with our own team as well. So that probably is the first thing that pops into my head.
Jami?
So I was able to also attend the IT leadership events that they had that was in a downstairs area. And there was a cocktail hour and talked to a couple customers who went. And they told me that as they were deciding whether or not to pay the extra to do the IT leadership events, they did. And they said it was probably the best development they've ever had as people that have gone to these types of things. So it was a really fantastic event. And I hadn't visited that last year. So that was one of the things that I thought was really special. I also got a massage. I had one scheduled for the first day I went there. So that's an important part of your journey.
I didn't do that. Clearly, I need to have more fun while I'm in Vegas because I did not have a massage.
In advance. And then what I strongly suggest you delete, I got super sick on the last day. So I lost 5 pounds. So that could be a benefit or maybe not a benefit, but it was and it definitely a learning from that though about
we're on all access podcast, so there's no delay. Well, that's really, I'm glad that I got to visit a whole bunch of things. I think, I would piggyback off the human element, getting to meet with, again, a lot of customers, a lot of people, and just hang out and walk the strip. I think that was the coolest thing. We walked up and down the strip quite a bit. I got tons of steps in, like 25, 30,000 a day. That was
Yeah,
just amazing.
no doubt about that.
So, but we're towards the end of our podcast. So I would like to give my wonderful guest just the last opportunity to kind of just give a quick key takeaway from Cisco Live Vegas 2023. Buffy?
Innovation. Cisco is innovating. We're helping our customers innovate. And I know this is a repeat story, but man, it was just iterated over and over again. And it was a solution based. So Alistair had one of the closing sessions during day 2 to where he actually didn't talk about our services and he actually didn't talk about our products, but he talked about our customers. And he talked about how we helped solve a business outcome for each one of the customers. And that was actually, that was such a unique view into the world, because the dev leaders came in and talked about the technology solutions, which were absolutely awesome. You've got the messages, from Chuck and the leadership team. But I think having the close of talking about how we're helping our customers, hospitals, cars, insurance, finance, it was just a really kind of neat kind of closure, if you will, to tie the whole experience together of how, we're helping our customers on a day in and day out basis. So that was it for me, innovation and tying the whole thing together.
Awesome. Great. Jami, what about your key takeaways from Vegas?
Yeah, that's a tough one to add on to because I think, that was the entire story at Cisco Live, but I'll do my best. So there's that whole customer engagement or that customer interaction. And I think it gives this real empathy or this understanding that, we all love technology. If you were at Cisco Live, you were there because you love technology.
Yeah.
And so that's a given. And to be able to find this unifying thing from both Cisco and from our customers and it and our partners as well, it's kind of exciting because it is about why we're here. And technology is so important as it, simplifies the world, as it helps us manage through complexity. As it kind of levels the playing field for people as well. Like technology not only simplifies things, but it brings people up and gives opportunities that they may never have had if we didn't have technology in the world. And when I see that and when I tie it to the people that we saw there and the connections we had with our customers, and the fact that frankly stakes are high with technology. We talked about generative AI, we talked about AI, think about security, like the stakes are super high. And so to be able to come together with this, unified purpose about how do we do things better, how do we make the world better, make lives better. We didn't even have a chance to talk about sustainability. There was some fantastic work there around sustainability. It just brought me back, or it brought me into this thought of, delete what I said, brought me back. It kind of pulls everything together, around how technology is a huge part of how we just drive the world. And it made me feel like I was part of something bigger.
Excellent. It's great response. Great comment. And there's so much to talk about Cisco Live that we can't cram it all into one podcast. Otherwise, everybody be sitting listening for like a day. And everybody's got stuff to do, right? And we want to keep this nice and concise for our listeners. And hopefully, listeners, you guys have enjoyed this podcast. Again, amazing company, amazing guest. Thank you guys so much, Jami and Buffy, for your time and contributing to the Cisco Tech Insiders podcast. We have great things coming up. We're going to have podcasts for the listeners. We're coming out podcast on generative AI. We're going to have a podcast on SaaS and Cisco's methodology and attack towards SaaS and SaaS support in the future. That's coming up. We also have some automation, some innovation talks that will be coming up as we continue to bring some great engineers, executives, etc. People from inside Cisco. We're bringing them to you, our customers, our listeners. So I hope you've really enjoyed it. Look forward to more. Once again, this is Shaun Roberts for the Cisco Tech Insiders podcast, signing off. Have a wonderful day. Bye-bye.